So I'm starting a new series. It's a pretty basic one. I saw it trending on Twitter like a couple of weeks ago maybe, but I haven't seen too much implementation on the YouTube about it. So I'm deciding, why not? Let's try and make this a little series, little video idea, whatever you want to call it. It's called Start, Bench, Release. And it pretty much does what it says on the tin. There'll be 3 players, in this case, obviously by the title, Neymar, Eden Hazard and Mo Salah. And it will be open to interpretation on who you, in this case, who would I start in a game, bench, put on the bench, or release, transfer entirely. Just, you can't have that third player on the team. Hopefully we can make a few of these. If you have any suggestions of maybe players you want to see, I have some in the pipeline already, but obviously leave it in the comments below. All the interaction is appreciated, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, all of that good stuff. But let's try step into this. Just clear the throat a little bit. These 3 players are, not only do they play similar positions on the wings, but they're 3 players that are in your conversation for at least the 3rd best player in the world. Depending on who you're talking to first, but that person obviously needs to take their medicine. Regardless, these are all great players in their right and all deserve all the praise that they get. But in this edition of Start, Bench and Release, we're going to have a little deep dive to see who's going to make the cut. We're going to start off with oldest to youngest, so by default Hazard goes first. I actually didn't know that Hazard was 29 now, that's kind of crazy to me. But of course, Hazard, he made a blockbuster move to Real Madrid very recently, this summer, or last summer now anyway. Left winger, known for his time mainly at Chelsea, where he basically made his name, became a superstar, became one of the best players in the world, most recently helping them win the Europa League last year. Of course, it's not only the Europa League he's won, he's actually won that twice, but he's been doing it from an early age since about 17-18 when he came up at Lille. He helped Lille win the French league twice, which was the last actually league that they won. Of course, they had a really good team. I might do a throwback XI on them, but I'm straying away from Eden right now. He's won 2 Premier Leagues with Chelsea, including a Premier League Player of the Year, 2 Europa Leagues, and of course he's won numerous individual awards. He's been in the PFA Team of the Year countless amount of times. He's been the PFA Player of the Year, so that is the Player of the Season in England. He's won a domestic Super Cup with Real Madrid already. All in all, in terms of trophies, he's doing well for himself. And in terms of his qualities, obviously it's easy to see. We've all watched Eden Hazard play before. He's good at dribbling, he's an excellent playmaker, you can tell by his statistics. Especially last year in the Premier League, his last year with Chelsea, he got 15 assists with 16 goals to boot. Not known for being much of a goal scorer. You like to see that increase a little bit more, but at the end of the day, that's not the man's game really. He's not a serial goal scorer like the other guys on this list. But if I can get at least between 15 to 20 goals out of Hazard and a bunch of assists, I'm going to take that because of what he brings to the table. Of course, you know the guy's tech. He's just an all-out baller. He's got a large body of work, as I said, because he's been doing this at the top level for such a long time now. And obviously the numerous individual awards just back him up even more. Now, of course, all these footballers have their cons. As you can see in the picture that I've selected, he can be a little bit chubby around the waistline. He has fitness issues at times, especially this season. He's barely played for Real Madrid. It's not that he's known specifically for getting injured, but especially his weight issues, he can really have trouble with that sometimes. Obviously, internationally, he's supposed to be a part of this golden generation of Belgian footballers. Don't get me wrong, they're talented, but in terms of international success, the best that they've done is a 3rd place finish at the World Cup, which was the last one, 2018. Not bad, but of course, you'd like to see some more trophy success with the national team. And obviously he has his tendencies to go missing, let's say that. I remember the season when Chelsea finished 10th. That was the season when Leicester won the league. I believe that was 2016. But Hazard, for majority of that season, went AWOL. And I'm not going to lie, that is a little bit of a black mark. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he's an excellent player. He deserves to be in that conversation for best player in the world, which is why Real Madrid bought him for over £100 million. Oof. The next person on the list is Neymar. Neymar's 28, which, that's mad, man. All these guys are getting old, man. That's crazy, dog. Neymar, he's pretty much been known since he was about 16, 17. So similar to Hazard, he's been doing this for a long time. So a large body of work right here. Made his name at Santos, of course. He actually won a Copa Libertadores, which is the South American version of the Champions League. So that's a really big trophy to win while you're quite a young player. Especially being the best player on that team at the age of probably not even 20. moved to Barcelona in 2013, and of course he created that crazy MSN trio with Messi and Suarez. They were taking Europe by storm. They won the Champions League, of course dominated Spain. They won 2 league titles together, and now with PSG, the league success has only carried on. He's won 2, and until somebody decides to step up and face PSG with the money that they have, they're probably going to win the next 60 million trophies in that league. But regardless, he's also won numerous domestic Spanish League Cups like the Copa del Rey, numerous domestic French Cups, domestic Brazilian Cups. He helped Brazil win the Brazilian golden medal in football, which to them especially was a really big thing because it's one of the many trophies that they actually hadn't won. Neymar's won a lot in life, alright? Just like Hazard, the trophy side he's doing very well. And in terms of the pros, in terms of what he's really good at, of course, excellent dribbler, really tricky. You don't just tackle at Neymar just that easily, do you? He scores goals, he play makes. He's gone crazy. I remember seeing a stat not too long ago on Sky Sports. I believe in about 70 something games, he had like 92 goal contributions. So that's goal and assist. Like, that's crazy, man. And that's in a few years stretch. That's since like 2017. That's a Mazzolini. Of course, he has his cons. You know, he's a little bit injury prone. You know, you're going to miss Neymar for large chunks of a season because he's, I won't say he's quite fragile, but he gets injured relatively easily. So maybe that is calling someone fragile. I don't know. You call it, not me. He's known for a little bit of the simulation, the diving, the antics on the pitch. Like, it's not really my cup of tea, but hey, it's Neymar. What can you really do at the end of the day? He's still gonna back, he's still gonna get his assists, he's still gonna make you look silly. But the simulation kinda does get at him a little bit, and a lot of people don't like him because of it. He's known for excessive amounts of drama. So for example, his move to PSG caused a lot of controversy. Barcelona wanted him to stay, of course. You could say it was maybe a money motivated move, even though he wanted to kind of get out of the shadow of Messi and Suarez. Of course, he's always in the news for maybe it's his mum, maybe it's his dad, his agent. If Neymar is on your team, there's always going to be some sort of drama that he brings. But I guess that just comes with dealing with superstars now these days, doesn't it? And of course, defensively, that might be a bit of an issue. It's not really to me because, I mean, if Neymar's not defending, but he's giving me 90 goals in 3 years, then do your thing, mate. I don't really care. Regardless of all these cons, we all know that Neymar is an elite player, a superstar. On his day, to be honest, he could be even the best player in the world. But hey, let's talk about Mo Salah now, because this is one of the guys that he doesn't have the body of work that Eden Hazard or Neymar has. He's only really burst onto the scene in the last few years, but my God, it's been a mad few years for him, hasn't it? In terms of his trophy success, of course, he actually hasn't won too much. He's won the illustrious Champions League with Liverpool last year on that magical run that they won on. Really and truly, the only other notable trophies that he has won is the Swiss League with Basel when he was there, before Chelsea came and snapped him up. He's obviously won the 2 Premier League Golden Boots, domestic trophies in Switzerland, but come on, we're talking about world level here, and Switzerland, no disrespect, is not one of the world's most elite leagues. But in terms of his success with Liverpool and Roma, to be fair, because he was doing Stormers in the Serie A when he was there. He's known for being quick, fast. What? He's fast. He's known for being a goal scorer, playmaker, an underrated playmaker as well, because he has built up a reputation for apparently not passing. I don't really see that because, like most goal scorers, they can get tunnel vision sometimes, so they may not see the open man, but if you check the man's numbers, I'm sure that his assists really do back him up to be an underrated playmaker. But that's just my opinion. Of course, he's really good at dribbling. He can make people look silly. You could say probably in terms of weaknesses, he actually doesn't have too many in my opinion, but you could say his leadership can be brought into question. He does lead by example on the pitch, but it ties into another con, which is in international success. Like, really and truly, Egypt should be one of the best teams in Africa. They should be up there with the Algerias, the Ghanas, the Senegals. But the AFCON that went past, they weren't that great. And of course, that falls at the feet of the best player. It happens in all sports. It's not just football. That happens in literally every single sport. So obviously, his leadership has to be brought into question. He can also be extremely one-footed, and his left foot is sweet. Don't get it twisted. His left foot is nice. However, it wouldn't hurt you to use your right foot sometimes. And of course, yeah, I'm guessing he has scored some goals with his right foot. I'm not saying that he can only use one foot and his right foot is just the standard. But the top players, I wouldn't say they're especially one-footed. I wouldn't say Hazard's one-footed. I especially wouldn't say Neymar's one-footed. People that are not even in this conversation, I wouldn't say De Bruyne, I wouldn't say Ronaldo. You could say Messi to a certain extent, but it's Messi, come on, man. You wouldn't say Mbappe. You wouldn't say all these guys use their strongest foot as much as probably Salah does. So that is a weakness, but of course, being as talented as he is, he can marginally get away with it, and that's okay. He's brought him into this conversation. He's brought him onto Anderson Talk, so hey, he's done well in my book. But to wrap everything in a nice little bundle and a nice little gift, I would start Neymar, because Neymar, in my opinion, is the best player on this list. He's the third best player in the world, in my nice and humble opinion. I would then bench Hazard, and that's no disrespect to Mo Salah. He's great. I think Hazard is probably more talented than him. Salah may have had the better past few years, but me, I'm here for talent. I'm here for ballers, and I like Hazard. Hazard has to go on the bench, and then of course Salah. I mean, I'll sell him for a nice little tidy profit, but he's got to go. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Sure to like, share, subscribe, and have a nice day.